So that'd be 3. All right, it's 19:30. All right, so we've got a quorum, Kate and Mark. All right, so I'll call the meeting to order. Do we have any conflicts of interest to disclose? All right, changes to the agenda. I have one thing. No, I don't. I'll cover it later. All right, Jeff is here.
Okay.
Changes to the agenda.
LeVar,
Yeah.
I have something for personnel under executive session.
Okay. Will it be under, so we can do that for human resources?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark and Jeff, any changes to the agenda? All right, so one thing I'll do is I want to just mention the resignation of Mary Ellen Parkman. And I guess we could talk about that under the appointments piece. With some work we have to do. So we'll just talk about that under like the appointments piece. All right, so do we have any public comments? All right, none. All right, do we have a motion to approve the minutes for 19 October? Well, we've got a question from Mary Ann.
I made some edits. So on LeVar's statement, I don't have them in front of me, but on LeVar's statement, he said something about too many people, and I removed the 2 at his request, so it just says many people. Also, Mary Ellen Parkman made a statement, and I changed it from social media to emails. Those are the edits I made.
All right, thanks, Mary Ann. So we have a motion to approve. Mark Whitney.
I'll second that.
Mark Whitney has moved to approve the minutes from 19 October. Kate has seconded. Is there any further discussion? All right, here.
I also added Heidi Chapman attended via Zoom.
All right, thank you, Mary Ann. Any further discussion? All right, being done, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jeff, did I hear you?
Yeah.
All right, so that the minutes are approved unanimously. So, all right, so appointments. We just want to add one thing here, resignation of Mary Ellen Parkman. The state law requires that we do a number of things, and Mary Ann is going to talk to that right now.
So we have to make a notice of vacancy within 10 days of when the officer resigns. And there's a formal way to do it, and I've typed it up. This is the way Kent did it last time, and this is the way I've done it. We can put that in the paper tomorrow morning if you agree to that, and it can come out in Thursday's paper. And then I can also copy it and post it on the 3 places in town where I usually do. And then that would be the requirement would be met for that. And then you can, the language says you can, that the select board expects to make an appointment to fill this vacancy.
Until election.
Until the town election is had. But the citizens have the right to petition for a vote, so they can change it if they, do the 5% of the voters thing.
Yeah, so you all don't have this as part of the packet because, I asked Mary Ann to do this quickly just to follow the same thing that Kent did. So it's basically the same thing that Kent did. And it's better for us to do that now so that we're not in violation of the statute, the time frame. So Kate, you got a question?
Yeah. So, and I'm using last year as kind of a reference for what we did for the vacancy last fall. is Mary Ellen at a 3-year term, but
Yeah.
do we fill this vacancy just until next town meeting day or for the remainder of her term?
Yeah,
The former.
So Mary Ellen was in a 3-year term, and her term ends March 2024. And what we would do is we got two options really. We can make an appointment for someone, and that can be, I mean, yeah, well, basically the last option. We can appoint them until the next town meeting, or we actually three things, or we could have an election. And we could have an election, or members of the town can petition to have an election for that position.
Special meeting, right?
Special meeting for that, yeah, special meeting for that, to, I guess, to fill that position.
Sorry, they can petition for a special meeting, or they can petition for a vote and we could hold a special meeting.
Correct. If we did anything on our own, just in the board without this, outside of a special meeting, it would only be to appoint the person until an election is had.
Okay.
All right, so does anyone have any objection for Mary Ann to go ahead and get this stuff knocked out?
Okay.
All right, you don't have any concerns about that, Kate?
I don't, and I would just love to add for the record just how grateful I was for Mary Ellen's service to the board. She was an incredible resource for us, and I'm really grateful for her service.
Yep. I
Okay.
concur with that as well.
I think it's too bad that so many people mistreated her, and the blatant sexism and mansplaining and other harassment that she faced from people that didn't agree with her or just thought they didn't agree with her because she hadn't really taken a stance. So I just wanted to say that.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Kate. Mark, did you have anything? All right, thank you. Okay, so Mary Ann, please proceed as we've done in the past, and thank you for staying on top of it very, very quickly. All right, do we have any other appointments for fence viewers, lumber, shingles of wood, ware of coal? Greg is always here. You don't want to pick up any of those?
I already know what those are.
All right, so Greg passes on those. All right, we don't have anyone online, do we? Nope, all right.
No.
All right, so we put Tim very early. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I just thought it, thank you for a little bit of clarification. I've never dealt with, because of COVID and the current board directly. So I had a little bit of question about the procedure and the policy, and I have to seek legal advice on the interpretation of bylaws, statutory issues, or individual applications, whatever. Just want to get a feel for how we would like me to proceed with policy, or what was the steps that I should take when something like this comes up.
Okay, well, hold on one second. Kate, could you hear?
I can hear most of it. If it would be possible to get him a bit closer to the microphone, that might help the recording.
Sure.
Yeah, we can't get it past
You
this
you just have
spot.
to like, I don't know, can you walk over
I
there?
can put a seat there for you.
Well, let's see. You're right there. Yeah.
You got that stuff?
You don't have to, you can't want to.
Yeah. You don't have to, but you know, that's.
So that was it.
So I think I heard, just wanted to get clarification or our views on what you need to do to get the legal counsel.
The steps to take. I know, I understood that, there was talk in a meeting long ago about talking to other towns about how to go about it, or how they do it, and maybe set up a policy for it. And I know when I felt hearing about Mary Ellen, I'm sorry about that, but she's liaison, gonna be liaison to zoning and ERB. Do I approach her or you first? Do I attend the meeting first? When the issue comes up with just I know in the past, I was able to call Joe Blaine, who's representing the town on a couple of matters,
Okay,
or emails, or whatever. But keep the board appraisals, let's go on, because they're the boss. Whatever they say goes.
Jeff, you have a,
I think that there wasn't anything other than if you were taking steps to take legal action.
Oh.
That was the thing that everybody had a problem with.
Oh.
Because
Wouldn't do that.
I think one of the emails that was sent out to Steve, it made it sound like, and I don't know if you sent it or if.
Well, this is general.
Yeah, so generally you should, I mean, I think how we all have seen it is, if you need to seek legal advice about things, that we're not concerned about that. We're more concerned about the relationship between town government and citizens and residents. But I mean,
yeah, so
that's how we had.
yeah, and that's how I marked, we have a comment, okay. Yeah, that is what the, okay, Kate, you go first, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're muted.
I was just agreeing, nodding my head in agreement with Jeff. Sorry, I did. I'll raise my hand if I want to talk, if that helps.
I'll keep looking over, make sure I can't get you. All right, so yeah, so that's generally what we had stated, and that's basically if the town intends to take legal action against members of the residents of the town, then we need to know about that prior. It's like so that we were getting caught here and there, we'll know this. Who are you all, who's the town taking action against? And the board members weren't aware of that. So we were all in agreement that, if you're gonna take action against, legal action against a resident or whatever, just, we should know about that prior to it occurring.
So it's free to communicate on routine matters.
You gotta talk a little bit louder.
I'm sorry.
That's,
Free to communicate with attorney on legal interpretation of bylaws, things like that, in general matters.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
and
not like,
they
oh, I
probably
think
weren't
we're
quite clear. Yeah, I think it was one of the emails Ann had sent, had insinuated that we were going to take legal action, and that's what got everybody riled up. Like, any of the normal things, that's fine. It was the only thing that anybody had a problem with was if we were threatening legal action against people. That was it.
I would never even get there without knowing you guys.
Right, and so we didn't know, because I don't know if there's even, I don't think there's a policy.
we're just, our direction to you was that, if you're gonna take the legal action that the board, town government body, the board needs to know about it prior.
Because there's always a little nitpicky things that you're gonna
Understand.
All right. So are you all set?
That's easy now. Yeah, I was like, can't say anything to anybody about anything here. I gotta keep simple question.
All right.
While you're here, should we talk about budget? That way you don't have to come again.
We didn't put them on, so,
Hold on.
you're on the next
Okay, you're
Not
on.
next week.
December-
couple weeks, yeah.
Okay, I just figured you were here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all right.
I haven't even touched that.
All right, well, thank you, Tim. Is there any other questions from Tim? Any questions for Tim?
Does the town have a designated attorney?
Does the town have a designated attorney? We did not, this board did not designate an attorney when we convened as this present board. We did.
Well, from what I remember, we've just gone to VLCT and they put us in contact with, there's like one or two attorneys that generally get back to us about questions. So I'm assuming you probably deal with the same guy.
Well, yeah, way back, if when we had Maggie, she and the board, so, you know, looked at it. a few people. Is that, I understand. Any question?
What attorney do you use, Tim?
Joe McLean, and I'm sorry, I can't, they're up in Burlington. Whoever they work with.
Yes, it's.
I can't.
Yeah, the town did some stuff with it too.
Yeah.
The town did something with them, did they, yeah?
Yeah, and I do the line of credit for them.
What's that deal?
I do the line of credit for them.
Okay, that's right, because that's all the legal paperwork, right? Okay. All right,
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
thank you. And if we have anything we gotta do with the attorney stuff, we'll have Jeff volunteer to track that down for us, won't we? Thank you, Jeff. All right. Okay, so we have town treasurer Gail, but if Gail, would you mind if Phyllis went before
You
you?
have very much, Dan? Go
No,
ahead.
that's fine, go ahead, 'cause I'm gonna fight.
Okay.
Thank you, thank you,
I
Gail.
have a- Thank you. I have a couple of things.
Phyllis, please, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
I thought that there might have been something on the agenda about, because I saw your name, about the motion, the petition or the
Yes.
thing. Are you gonna do that during your?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
First of all, this is my budget, same budget as last year, hasn't gone up, so if you want it, I mean, yeah, let's prepare it. I do have a problem with the budget. I don't know if you guys know the site, the website, the Vermont Geographic Interaction website, the state geographic page.
Yeah, geographic
Yes. Yeah,
information.
you
so-
can find all of our parcels on. Well, a few years ago, the Agency of Transportation put money in and they got all this up on that site. And then last year I got the grant to keep it going because we don't have any other GIS, anything in town. So I'm still trying to keep it going, keeping that current. So this year he gave me a bid for it. Well, come to find out this year, the bid was for 4 surveys. We had 19 surveys this year, unheard of amount of surveys or something because of all the you know, selling and buying, 19 surveys. So that cost is double. So I was wondering if I could take money out of other areas in my budget. I still won't be over my budget. Take money out of other areas to cover that. I don't really want to let that go because we don't have any other GIS company doing anything. That's the only place people can click on, see who the landowners are around you, see what people assess for and so on and so forth. That's the only thing we have going for us. We checked into having companies handle that. It's always been so expensive, we've never done it. I don't think it'll ever come to this price again. I don't think we'll ever have 19 surveys in one, you know, so I put money in next year in the budget for it, not for that amount, my regular amount, thinking we're never gonna have 19 surveys again. I did save us a little money because I took the surveys and had them digitized as staples. That saved us a little bit of money, so I'd like permission to do that, take it from other areas in my budget so I can get that done, have them do that. Nemrick does it, is doing it for us. They're the ones that also do our maps. I'm not gonna get a new map. We've only got a couple mistakes in the map. We'll wait another year to get another map. I mean, a few names.
So that's the clerk budget or the lister budget?
Lister,
Lister, right,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, listers.
I have a couple.
Yeah.
Is there any way possible, Marianne, you might know, that we could get some COVID money for that? seeing as it's
Well, I
a
was
result?
thinking the same thing, and I was thinking COVID money, you know, I was thinking today in the town clerk's office, we've got, you know, files in there that are so old, if we don't get them digitized, we're not ever gonna be able to read them. I mean,
Mhm.
they really, you know, we don't have any of that going on. Most other town clerks do have that going on, and they had money for COVID earlier, but Karen wasn't ready for it, so we didn't do it, but I'm wondering if there isn't some money for COVID that we can't do that, and along with mine too, but particularly hers.
Yeah, so I think let's look into that, but the other thing that I think that we're trying to stick to is if you're just shifting around your budget, you don't come to us for permission, just let us know, and if there were an objection, then it would come to like a discussion. Right, because I mean, you know what is going on in your office more than we do, and, you know, for us to
Well, I
start.
won't go over my budget, but
Right.
it would be higher, my budget would be higher than it has been recently. I never go over budget, you know, so.
So
And do
you,
you need, and also, you're not increasing your budget, you leaving out things like maybe a cost of living raise or something like
I didn't put any raise in this year because I did last year, so I didn't put any
Okay.
raise in this year.
So basically you're saying to, shift money around for this present year
Yes,
and then increase it for the next
no,
year?
won't be increased. I'll keep the same, because we'll never have this big cost like this. I don't think we'll have this big cost, with 19 surveys. We never had that many surveys.
How much?
So how many,
They put it for 4, we usually have 4 or 5.
that. Well, yeah, but how much is?
12, around 2,000.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's not that.
Well, no, and I have 1,200 already in the budget for it.
So what would it make sense to do half of 19 for next year?
We
Next
may
year, I'll put
still
my
see-
regular 1,200 in for next year, hoping it won't be, 2,000. I don't think it will be, and I could put a little extra in, I suppose, but.
Yeah, maybe do like,
Yeah. 15, yeah.
yeah,
So maybe like
a few more
1,500,
because
yeah.
we're still seeing that increase in sales. and
Yes.
transfers.
But actually, this money here, this will be done through, let's just November, December. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of 2021 stuff on there. So like,
Okay.
you know what I mean, because we passed our April 1st, so we're gonna have a lot, so maybe even next year, we're only talking about, what, from December to April, we may not have hardly anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So it's hard to tell. This is whole year and a half in a way when it starts in April, and we're now in November, April, November. Okay, do you understand that, okay?
Yeah, I think that we should, and Jeff had mentioned that for folks that are, have those offices like the elected offices, like Phyllis and the listers, that we're asking or we're in agreement that, they're able to move the funds around as they see appropriate. Is that, are we all in agreement there, Mark? All right, Kate? All right, but so we're thinking for other folks that are, to definitely, come to us and let us know, but maybe the folks that are elected, like, Karen, the clerks and whatnot. All right,
Okay.
so we'll be looking
And
for,
I did have Mary Ann put a link on our website to the DCGI site. People can go and click on it, takes them right to the parcel map, so people can click on it and look at their parcel, other people's parcel, or whatever.
and that's at Center for Geographic Information, right?
Yes.
Yep, all right.
Okay, then the other thing I prepared a warning for our special meeting. Warning, Town of Chelsea special town meeting. The legal voters of the town of Chelsea are hereby warned and notified to meet at Chelsea Town Hall in the town of Chelsea on Monday, December 6th at 7 p.m. to transact the following business. Article 1, shall the town vote on the election of officers by our Sharon ballot pursuant to 17 VSA, whatever. Article 2, shall the town vote to withdraw from the First Branch Unified School District by a Sharon ballot? To vote on those two things from the floor at the special meeting
On December 6th,
on December 6th.
at
And
7 p.m.
our moderator is available that night. So definitely, just make sure. So
All
we
right.
have to have a vote and obviously sign if you agree with that.
Yes, so hold on, as an issue, we'll go to Kate, but first, I want to just talk with the members here. So let's take this chance to ask Phyllis questions first, and then if we want a motion to debate the issue to have action, then we get a motion and then debate the issue among ourselves. But let's just use this time to talk with Phyllis first and then get questions from Phyllis. All right, Kate, you're first.
Okay, and forgive me if I might be misremembering our last meeting, but I had reviewed the minutes beforehand. So for this special meeting, we are electing a moderator.
No.
No, Dixon's term, present moderator's term is 1 year. So
So
that would cover all our special meetings. Special.
Here,
So this special,
I'll read it again so that you can hear it.
I have it right in front of me, Jeff.
Okay.
It's changed a little bit since I sent that out. It's changed a little bit. Okay.
Okay, all right, I'll listen.
One is to vote for officers via Australian ballot. So we'd be making that decision. And 2 would be putting, voting to voting to put the article that the town withdraw from the school district, the unified school district. And that, so just those two things. Australian ballot for officers and putting on the withdrawal from the unified district.
So does that mean that the warning to that meeting would have that specific question on there, or would it be worded as it is in front of me, just shall vote on all public questions?
It'll have all the language in the new one.
Yeah, Kate,
In the new one, okay. I don't know why I have the old one. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And then, so thank you, LeVar, I read it. I appreciate that. These public questions, what is the procedure for that? Is that something that Phyllis, you're collecting signatures for?
Okay, we don't, there's no,
This special meeting is a town meeting. People have to come to this hall and have an open regular town meeting like we do in March. And whoever comes is to vote, and they'll vote on these two articles. They may vote to go, not to go either way, I'll show you about. Maybe people don't want it, it's possible. We wanted it because we want to be able to put this article on the March 2nd meeting, or first, if it's March 1st meeting, we want to be able to put that on as Australian ballot to withdraw, because we want the whole town to be able to vote on that. Otherwise, we have to do it from the floor. We can't do anything unless we do this to get the Australian ballot, because we're a floor town.
Right, no, I understand that. I was wondering just what the procedure is for public questions. I didn't know.
Public
So-
questions.
okay, what the point is, there's nothing on this warning that says public questions.
No, I changed that. I decided to.
Okay. Oh,
I can
I
add that
guess
all-
okay. I'm wondering what the procedure is for getting questions like the FBUD withdrawal onto the town meeting warning. Is that procedure both a special meeting and a petition? Does anybody understand my question?
It's a petition. It's a petition.
Okay, thank you.
Unless the select board decides to put it on like the other warnings, but I am planning on getting signatures, because I really do want to put, I want to know who is for this and who isn't. I want the signatures, so, you know.
So Phyllis is correct, and I'll just restate it, Kate. So there are two ways of getting this on the floor, I mean, on the ballot for town meeting, and that's this board right now can pass a motion to do such, and that's what'll happen. Or Phyllis could take an approach and get signatures to do it that way. So those are two ways.
I could have got signatures for this meeting, but the board was pretty agreeable to putting it on, so we didn't get signatures for it. And they may be agreeable to put that on the March 1st warning without signatures, but I'm planning on doing signatures. Starting tomorrow.
I see. Okay, I think I've caught up. Thank you.
Phyllis, I have a question.
Yeah.
For the vote, so shall the town vote on the election of officers by Australian ballot? Is that for all future town meetings?
Yes, until we change it. Till we have a meeting and change it,
Okay,
yeah.
so if that article were to pass at the special town meeting, if we were to have one.
Yeah.
That means that until Chelsea decides that it's not gonna vote by Australian ballot, it will be voting by Australian ballot.
On that issue, yes.
Well, not on this, but just,
Just on the election. No,
yes,
yeah,
correct,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that's right, Phyllis.
yeah. Mhm.
For the election of officers, correct, forever until
I mean, the reason,
there's a town vote saying no.
and the reason I put that on there, I just think it's fair that people know who the heck is running for what, and they vote. Instead of at town meeting, looking around, trying to find somebody to nominate, and, you know, it's just bizarre. And they only have to get 9 signatures.
So nine, so we,
Nine signatures, so I guess, you know. you
So in order to
gotta handle
get-
that all right.
so
And it
in-
had to be in Decatur by a certain time, whatnot, if we do that, but.
yeah, so then we would have to, so anyone running for office would have to get 9 signatures.
Yeah.
And then they'd have to go to the clerk to file those 9 signatures.
Right,
so
and
they
maybe
can
when
run.
we have this open town meeting, maybe people don't want to do that. I mean, they're gonna vote on it, you know, there'll be a vote by ballot, by hand, by hand, not by ballot, but you know what I mean, on the floor. It won't be a yes or nay. It shouldn't be. I think it has to be by ballot. We do that at the school meeting. I think it's supposed to. And maybe people are interested in that. I don't know, maybe they're not. They don't have to vote for it. I mean, you know what I mean?
So, yep. The other question I have is, the Article 2 says, shall the town vote to withdraw from the First Branch Unified School District by Australian ballot pursuant to the state law? Is there any way we could make it say like at the March town meeting as opposed to it, because it seems like.
But you know, one warning I looked at did say, commencing on March 1st, 2022, and then had this.
I
But so
think
what
that'd be a little clearer.
might be a little clear, commencing on March 1st, so after March,
Or the
So-
first town
so
meeting.
in that somebody doesn't get the idea that they're voting.
for that then, yeah.
Well, that's what I thought we were doing.
Kate's got a question here too. Thanks, Mark.
No. I was just echoing, wanted to say exactly what Mark just said, that I think some people might read that and think there's a vote on this topic on December 6th, and it might create a little bit of,
Well, the first one I wrote, it did say something like commencing on March 1st, 2022. If this passes, or whatever, we shall, I forget just how it went, but I certainly can add that on. And why
Okay,
not?
so maybe what we'll do is, in order to, if we're interested in voting on this, maybe we can have Mary Ann right now rewrite what we're thinking that the motion would be, so that we, or if someone's gonna.
March 1st.
So we're all reading from the same paper.
That's on March 1st.
So should we say the town first,
And put that in there, by Australian ballot commencing on March 1st pursuant to 17 VSA.
yeah, Mark is making a point. He says we should probably say something about at the town meeting.
Okay.
That way it's,
Well, it is March 1st, that's town meeting.
Wow.
Commencing on the town meeting on March 1st.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah,
Annual town meeting.
at the end, meeting on March 1st or something like that. We will-
why the word commencing?
And that's when we're gonna start this Australian ballot then, not now. We're only voting to do Australian ballot now. We're not voting on it. We're gonna vote at that town meeting by Australian ballot if this passes.
And then going forward in perpetuity until another special meeting is called, or another vote is.
Originally had said, shall we do all questions this way? But I don't know what kind of questions are gonna come up, and I thought I'd just go with this one thing.
I think we should go in there. Commencing on March 1st, 2022 at the annual meeting, comma, pursuant to 17 VSA.
all right, so the way we would have it now is, shall the town vote to withdraw from the
Yeah, I know. She fixed that in there.
first branch unified school district by Australian ballot commencing on March 1st, 2022 at the annual town meeting pursuant to 17 VSA section 2680 D1. That would be the second article.
That's much clearer, right?
Yeah. And then, right, Kate?
I guess I'm still taking issue with the word commencing, and it would make me feel uncomfortable to have the potential for FBUD withdrawal vote on every town meeting going forward, the possibility of it, that. I don't know if that's just what I'm taking issue with, is the.
Okay, so
Oh,
then it would just be
commencing,
on
so
March
it's-
You know
1st.
why,
Yeah,
originally we were gonna, shall we vote on all questions? And then I changed it to just this one question.
Yeah, all
So that's
questions.
why it was all questions. That's why commencing on March 1st, all questions would be done this way. You know what I mean? But in this case, it's just this one question, it's a little bit different.
So then it would go to there.
So then, okay, so how about this? Shall the town vote to withdraw from the First Branch Unified School District by Australian ballot on March 1st, 2022 at the annual town meeting and then pursuant to the state law?
That's pretty clear, I think, don't you?
It's very clear.
All right, so everyone understands that that's the proposal that Phyllis is making. Okay. Any other questions for Phyllis? Or anybody want to take any action?
I move to commence with the. I have to read the whole thing.
There you go.
Commence with the special town meeting, and it'll be presented and warned as the legal voters of the town of Chelsea are hereby warned and notified to meet at the Chelsea Town Hall in the town of Chelsea on Monday, December 6th, 2021 at 7 p.m. to transact the following business. Article 1, shall the town vote on the election of officers by Australian ballot pursuant to 17 VSA, section 2680B1. Article 2, shall the town vote to withdraw from the First Branch Unified School District by Australian ballot pursuant to 17 VSA, section 2680D1. And inserted, by Australian ballot on March 1st, 2022, at the annual town meeting, pursuant to 17 VSA, section 2680D1.
All right, a motion has been made on that warning for the special town meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion has been made by Jeff and seconded by Mark. Is there any further discussion? We'll go with Jeff, and then Mark, and then other folks. Go ahead, Jeff, Mark. All right, Kate.
Yeah, I think I need to abstain from this vote because I think I have a conflict of interest here.
All right, thanks, Kate. All right, so as a matter of procedure, it would require all the three of us to all vote on it in the affirmative in order to pass. All right. You have any questions? I don't have any other questions or comments. Is there any further discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right. Kate's not voting, so the warning for the special town meeting passes, and that is that the legal voters of the town of Chelsea are hereby warned and notified to meet at the Chelsea Town Hall and the town of Chelsea on Monday, December 6th, 2021 at 7 p.m. to transact the following business. Article 1, shall the town vote on the election of officers by Australian ballot pursuant to 17 VSA, section 2680B1. And Article 2, shall the town vote to withdraw from the First Branch Unified School District by Australian ballot on March 1, 2022 at the annual town meeting pursuant to 17 VSA 2680D1. All right, and that is passed by the select board. So we will notify the clerk's
Right, if
office.
you give that to me, I'll go in and type that up, and then you guys sign it, and we'll give it to the town.
Yeah, so we'll notify, we'll get a cleaner copy, notify the clerk's office that the board has approved those for it. So we basically set up the special town meeting. So we'll make sure that Mary Ann works with the clerk's office to make sure we followed all this laid out statutory procedures to properly warn this special town meeting. All right, thank you. All right. We go to administrative assistant report, Mary Ann.
Okay, I have a lot of stuff.
All right, well, can we recess for like 2 minutes? I can run the restroom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna pause recording just so that we don't have a lull.
All right, thank you. So we have the administrative assistant report, Mary Ann.
Okay, so the first thing is FEMA has requested that VEM schedule site visits for the FEMA buyout properties here in Chelsea on Wednesday, November 17th. It's going to be at 9 a.m. and they want someone who is available to meet them and to provide their name, title, email, and cell phone number. They think it's gonna take a half-hour total visit, less than 15 minutes each, and they wanna see all 3 properties. And they wanna meet at like 110 and Maple Avenue at 9 AM on November 17th, which is a Wednesday. Who wants to do that? If one of you does,
I can do it.
okay,
It's
Jeff,
really easy for me.
okay,
You said
so
it's a Wednesday, what time?
9 AM.
You're okay?
Yeah, I should be okay.
All right.
I was going to school a little late.
What's that?
I'll come to school a little late, yeah.
Name, title, email, and cell phone number. I think I have all those things for you. So I'll just fill it, I'll just go ahead and fill it out, all right?
Sure.
Okay, that one's done. Special town meeting warning, done. The leaf blower, there is a leaf blower that the highway department, you have already approved it, but they want you to sign it. It's an equipment purchase grant thing and it needs to be signed right away. And here's the sign letter.
Yeah, Rick, so this is what we approved, was it last year, right? Or was it?
Yeah, so
Okay. And this is about, what do we need to do for this?
sign it and I'll send it in.
Okay.
Just, you know, if you want to sign it or whoever, and then just say like select board underneath it.
Okay.
It's a grant form, so.
All right. Yeah, Kate, you following us here? This is the leaf blower that we approved for Rick a while back and.
I gave the Myers contract to him. Well, I think I sent a copy of the VLTC social services appropriation policy. That's to everyone, that's for future. There's also the Emerald Ash Borer email, which I sent around to everyone. So the Emerald Ash Borer is now in Brookfield and they're just, you could read it. It just says, hey, those little insects are there. Watch out. Okay, Green Up Vermont just sent this in and we can we can apply. They have some for different towns in Vermont. And you can apply by December 15th and we can get an LK filling station. It's a water bottle refill station grant program. You can get a filling station and up to $1,000 for installation. And it's a pretty simple one-page thing. I don't know if you guys want me to fill it out and see if we should do this or not. At a previous board, I remember that someone wanted a water bottle refilling station, like in the lobby here or something. I don't know if that's something you're interested in. Anyway, it came and you can think about it or whatever.
So basically, is it matching funds or are we just getting money to put this in? And the town's not gonna have to do anything but provide space.
Yeah, but somehow the water has to, you have to like hook it up to some water or something.
So, okay, so we would have the plumbing
It
done.
looks like this, yes, it's just, Green Vermont just wants to say plastic, basically, and they're just saying, if you get this little thing, and I don't know if enough people, you know, I don't know if enough people would come to this Chelsea facility, so it would be worth it, but it came across my desk, so I thought I'd just
Well,
pass
it's
it on.
up to $1,000 for installation, so that, I would assume that would include plumbing. But
I
how much would it?
Yeah.
don't know about that.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
uses the water from somewhere, so it'd be from the town wells.
Right, but I mean, the town hall already has access, I mean, assuming we did it here, they already have access to water. We would just have to have a water
Right.
line and go to it.
Right.
So I guess, can you find out how much it actually costs? No,
If they're gonna give you that thing, that LK thing.
so they're
I
gonna give that and then $1,000 for, up to 1,000 for installation.
That's what I think, yeah. I can call and confirm, but.
Yeah, if you want to confirm, I mean, if we're not gonna put money in, or we have to put in 100 or 200 bucks to put a water line in, you know, then we should go for it. Let's, can you call a plumber and see?
Oh,
what
get an
the
estimate?
Like, yeah, because I mean, it could be really difficult because he's gonna go through a bunch of stuff to actually get the water there, or it could be really easy. Or we could pass it on and let the school know, and maybe they can get another filling station for the kids.
Okay,
You know, I mean, if we're not gonna use it.
Yeah, I don't know why we passed on it last year, it might have been the cost.
I don't think this little program is just now, it's new now, I think.
Well, why don't we hear about it last year then?
Because it didn't come last year.
I
It
remember,
just came, you know, maybe Green Up Vermont is facilitating this special thing. I don't know. It's a program. Okay. Okay, so the notice of vacancy, we already did that. Green Up Vermont, okay. Dashboard.
All right, we gotta go quick, so I forgot Gail, sorry, Gail. We should have gone right back to you.
Okay, I think that's it anyway, really. Unless I think it's something else.
So you're all set, Mary
I
Ann?
guess so. There's something, I'll tell you that in budget, something that's good.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, thank you.
I just have the orders, and then I just have this one thing that's in the orders, Brookfield service for the generator. Every year we do packet 2, which is a little more expensive, but it's 2 visits a year and it covers a lot more.
At the water plant.
Yeah, and if we pay it by November 20th, which I have on the orders, we save 100 or so. Yeah, so, but you just have to sign it.
So should we make, I mean, do we need to make a motion for that now, or do we just do it with all the orders?
Yeah, I just included the orders.
What is included with the orders?
And then back pages to sign.
All right, thank you, Gail.
I'm sure one of us will come down. Sign all the back pages.
Not me.
And oh, and I made a copy of it. It was running really late, so I didn't have time to send one to Kate, but it's, didn't know who was gonna be here, but it's,
Okay,
Rick's part of the budget.
okay, thanks. All right.
Well,
All right, so Gail, you're all set?
yeah, you don't need me for anything else?
No, Mark, what's the price on that thing, so we can,
The total paid by November is $2,098.
all right, thanks. All right,
And then there's, in the order for the select board one, the pink one, there's a lot of appropriations on there. And then I have the stipend for Kate, Bill, and Mark.
all right, so the appropriations? So
Yeah,
that's
for
from,
the petitions, appropriation.
that weren't paid already?
Yeah, I don't pay them until after November 1st.
Okay. I
And
thought we had some of them before.
no, we just, well, we pay the library and the cemetery
Okay,
throughout the year. So it
okay,
is pretty high, but that's
Before you head out,
time of year.
I just want to catch you.
Yeah.
So the contract that Meyer sent does not include container rental. And the way the contracts usually work is if they've forgotten it and it's pretty much, we can expect it and it's customary, they're going to say, well, we should have known that they were going to put that in, just like some of the other charges in past years. Like, well, we should have known, and we just ended up paying them. I think we should check with them.
Verify that.
Because we're gonna sign this thinking, yeah, we got a great deal, and then they're gonna be like, well, you should have known, and under contract law, if we should have known, and it's in this contract, then we're gonna have to pay it.
Yeah.
You can't pull a fast one on something like that.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that.
Okay.
But I mean,
but we were looking at other options too, right?
yeah, I'm waiting to hear from Casella. I'll call them back. I talked to them, I think, Wednesday last week, Tuesday last week. And Myers, I talked to, and they did get something to Mary Ann.
And also the, I haven't heard back from the insurance company, but I did send them all the information. I got a quote for the box out there.
Drop box.
And once I get a okay, then I'll have Rick move that, get rid of it, but I don't want to move it till.
Yep.
Sure.
All right. Thank you. All right, so now we have budget discussions. So we'll go to, I just realized one other thing we gotta do. Election of vice chair, so we can do that later. We can put it on a future meeting. Well, let's go to Rick now for budget discussions highway.
The new truck hasn't arrived, they finally built it. And hasn't arrived at Clark yet. Though. Finally built it, so. After, when it does arrive at Clark, so they'll have to make a check in for it.
Okay. So future budget, what are we looking at? Any concern or?
Like salaries, I weren't sure if what we're doing about sewer plant, Aiden's position,
Okay,
so I can figure on salary, but. what
the
happens there.
split, the
Yeah.
split, yeah.
But I mean, you know, probably 20 grand is different, so. in the budget, so. So it was hard to too much there. I upped it 7,000 just for different, you know, pay increases and stuff. But I didn't know what you're gonna do with that position, so.
Okay,
And under the garage, I did pretty much same repairs. I went up 400. We had one last year, that was a little, or this year, it was a little bit higher. They put in a new vent pipe. It was $1,800. The old one rotted out. So we went black iron this time, so it's shouldn't have a problem. Equipment rental, repairs, that's the same. Diesel, left it the same, but right now it's higher than it's been,
yeah,
you know, a few years. But
I would put it up because who knows if it's gonna come down.
with Jeff, what's that?
I would put it up because during the time you're out on the roads the most, it's gonna be highest. Because, you know, we're not gonna see any reduction in fuel prices anytime in the next 4 to 4 months. I'd be willing with that.
Yeah,
yeah, I just got her.
When you have headlines like world energy crisis. Might as well. plan
Yeah,
for
I
that.
probably should have been up at least 5 grand probably.
yeah, so maybe take a look at, like forecast based on what you've done before and maybe,
We've been around 40 for the last few years. We've been fine, but then that high price goes. So.
well, maybe,
Winter
look at-
time's the most,
yeah,
you know, we're going into here, well, another month before we get into it, but then we'll be using some fuel.
yeah.
I don't know what we got that for this
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah, 'cause we walked.
year. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I didn't, you gotta make sure Kate can hear too.
I can hear.
Do we wanna check with Gail just to see if we need to up the heat stuff, cause she's the one who deals with water
Yeah.
and the price, right?
Yeah, I didn't ask her today. Actually, but I know last year we were under, actually dropped it back down to, but it was 6, dropped it back down, so.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, we'll see what the price is. I mean, mine at home is about that much.
There, yeah. Can you, when you see Gail, will you just ask her about that?
Yeah.
The sand, I put it up a couple thousand because finding the colors and they're getting hard, it's getting hard to find sand. And, we've actually got some granite sand this year from them, it was $10 a yard, so. That's gonna be something that's gonna keep going.
Increase.
It increases every year about a quarter a yard.
Yeah,
And the gravel, I upped that 10 grand because we haven't upped it for so long. I don't even remember when it was up the last time. And it's been 75, and the price of up to the pit goes up a quarter every year. And we're getting behind on resurfacing.
okay.
I think that's something that we need to,
How far behind them?
well, we haven't really done a resurfacing job since
Couple of years?
been about 25 years since we've done a real resurfacing job.
Yeah,
We just do a Band-Aid all the time.
Yeah.
So. Something that we need to think about, you know, every year we can't, you know, level fund on gravel when it's going up every year.
Is that something we should maybe do like a 5-year or 10-year plan and hit roads every year? And just start doing it? Or, you know, there might be roads that need it more so than others. So.
Oh, yeah, there's more travel roads need more, but, you know, we use a lot in mud season and then we
Yeah. Well, no, I
do a
was
little
thinking
here and there, and then there's none left, so.
right, well, I was thinking separately, should we do like a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan? And that way we have an idea and a plan of what we're gonna have to spend for extra gravel to resurfacing. Because, you know, there are certain roads that just get totally mudded out by, and you dump a bunch of gravel, maybe we need to lay down that heavy duty polyethylene and more gravel and stuff and just take care
Yeah,
of
we
it.
used to do it, like I said, it was just, you know, 10 bucks a yard.
Yeah.
Now it's up to almost 14 bucks a yard.
Well, to that point too, though, is how, is there a possibility of saving if we, and I brought this point up to people, they're going various different towns when I'm hauling gravel. Band-Aid, Band-Aid, Band-Aid. Would there be a savings of, you know, we figure out what the worst spots in town are, prioritize, you know, a spot on bottom shop that always goes to mud 3 feet deep, right? And, all right, well, this year we're gonna take this 100-foot or 200-foot section of road, dig it down and build back a road. Would that be?
Yeah, it just, like I said, and then it's a lot of mud season to make everybody happy, and then.
After budget's over, let's figure it out, and then starting the next year, the next budget that goes out, we'll have a place for all these potential projects that, because we might as well just have it on there and have estimated costs and just make sure that people know that it's not part of that year's budget unless there's one of those projects we're gonna take care of. But that way, every year, people are seeing, okay, there are future expenses that are coming. Because if we don't do it, everybody's gonna be like, well, why did we suddenly have this expense?
Oh, we put 25,000. More for
Yeah,
special project.
I thought that was good.
was that the
I
25?
think that the 25 for
What was the matching highway reserve?
for any of the projects that we work with the state on.
And Jeff, remember last year,
We level funded.
we didn't put that in there.
We took that 25 out, so
Yeah.
that 25 should probably go back in.
For the matching highway reserve, right?
Yeah,
But it was 2020, but still 21.
so we should make a note to put that back in. Because, I mean, how much money did we save to just buy that truck outright rather than?
Well, that's because we had the equipment fund.
Right, that's what I'm saying, having that money on hand probably saves us, and, you know, over a 10-year period, it's gonna save us tens of thousands of dollars.
Well, when we get the bridge or whatever done.
Yeah, it'll take all 125,000.
So we're still putting money into the equipment fund, right?
50,000.
And this, go back to that highway salaries, we have that reduction in there, what is it? What are those numbers there?
Which one?
The 138 and then 104? What, maybe I'm not looking at the right thing. Which columns are these? C and D. Are they like the,
2020,
that's what I'm trying to find, all right.
it might be actual.
182 versus 136.
Where do you get 182?
It's total personnel expense. If you go, because
Oh.
you've got highway and salaries at 138 to 104, but after you include overtime, FICA health, all that stuff, you get down, you get 182, 572 versus.
Yeah, I see it in my book here. All right, that was a question I had to make sure I'm looking at the right columns. Never, I don't have a question, Rick, never mind like that.
I mean, that's, depends on who we like last year, we were 5,700, or so far this year, 5,700 for overtime. Get another month or so, might get some overtime, but
Yeah,
that, the salary, I mean, and if we hire another guy. Keep that.
well, then, that's the question is, for you, it's like, how bad do you need another person that would do the part-time? I mean, the split work? Or your,
I don't think we
or your
really-
part?
I don't think we really need the, I mean, other than the mowing part, but, I think we get one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we did it to help the sewer, you know, so we could get 40 hours. Why we did the highway too.
Now, what about this winter plowing?
He would have been plowing anyway.
Okay, so you think you're good?
Paul and John and me.
Okay.
And the only thing he would have been doing is the cycle.
Okay.
I mean, you might have done a little bit of the pickup, you know, here and there, you know, down by the bridges or something, but.
So you'd be good, so we've got to talk with Nolan,
Mhm.
but we got to talk with Nolan about that.
The other question, do you have someone as kind of a, backup to this Jack Johnson, have you talked to him? Because he had mentioned something. Oh, we've got that.
So maybe we should, just as a backup, especially since there's COVID, there's this, there's that. Jack Johnson had, last year mentioned to Jeremy that he might be available for some part-time plowing, and so maybe we could have him as a backup in case anything happens.
I don't know, I mean, what is, I mean, let's let Rick figure.
Well, no, I was just saying, so you knew what I said.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad idea to have somebody, I mean, you never know when you're gonna get sick.
Can you give him a call and just say, like, see what he, that way, then you know already.
Hey, so I remember the state had encouraged all the highway folks to come up with the contingency plan. If the road crew got sick, and, you know, we could have 2 people in a truck, and then you can have 1 person in quarantine and all that, you know, so I don't know if we're gonna do that in the future, but I agree, we should, maybe Rick, we leave it up to you to come up with the backup for what you need.
Yeah.
As long as you're comfortable and feel like.
Never.
Assuming, you know, that's,
We could all.
just this side of catastrophic,
Yeah.
everybody being out, but.
Kate, did you have any questions or points for the highway budget?
No, nothing to add, but been following along with you guys.
Okay, thanks, Kate. All right, so what else are you thinking here, Rick?
There's only one, we still own the backhoe and one, my 6-wheel drive truck, 16. So you could drop the payments a little bit, but I don't really recommend it because eventually we're gonna have to give it a loader. And the loader we got is 21 years old. Eventually that's gonna have to be traded.
So we would take that out of the equipment fund, right?
Yeah, but, you know, in 3 years, we still, I mean, we got trucks that are gonna be 7 years old come spring, so they're gonna be, you know, so you're not gonna have enough to
Yeah, and the loader's gonna be like, what, 125 or more?
probably have to trade you around.
Yeah, so maybe we should, rather than, have to up the budget when we buy something and have payments on it, because, you know, I don't know what we have right now in the fund, but I don't think we have enough to buy a loader, and they've been talking about the loader for a while. So why don't we shift the payments the amount that we're not paying on payments, the equipment fund, since it's already something that we're used to putting the money out there for, and we're gonna have to put the money out anyways.
Well, why wouldn't we just keep the money on the payments so we could pay it off faster?
Or, yeah, we could just apply it and pay off what we have faster, which actually would probably save us.
Well, I mean, there's after the truck, we pay that truck off, of course, we're not trading the truck in. So we'll have that, whatever we get for it, it's 35 or 40 get for it.
How
I
long,
think we'll probably have like around 80,000 left. In equipment fund, after we trade the truck too.
Yeah.
And then we'll get 50 if the budget gets passed. So we'll have around 130 probably.
How long are we gonna be paying on the truck and the back?
22 is the last payment on the 16, and the back was 24.
So maybe we should apply that extra.
It's like
to 22.
57,000.
my main concern is that we're constantly asked at the town meeting, it's like, why is the highway equipment fund, it's like putting so much money into it, why are we getting new stuff constantly? Those have been the questions that, you know, we had our information sessions, the last one on the computer box, and then the 4 meetings, the 4 town meetings. It's like, I'm wondering, you know, I have to ask, is there any way we can, I mean, I know, Rick, you said that if the longer we wait, the less traded value we get. I get that. But is there any way we can delay these costs, like delayed purchases, so we can keep the costs down? And while we're delaying that, we're still putting money into equipment fund so that we don't have to do a lot of borrowing in the future. So I'm wondering, can we keep them longer and still get the job done as we are planning for the future? It's like, can we?
Thing is, you know, the longer you keep it, the more money you got to put in. Like the
Say that again,
2012,
more.
the 2000, the longer you keep something, the more you're gonna put into it.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, you can keep them as long as you want, if you want to put money into them.
As it is.
I don't recommend it, but
yeah.
As it is, from what I've seen over the past few years, we are keeping things to the point where we're putting significant amounts of money into them already. But also, if we were to look at our roads and the number of people that we pay to cover our roads, my comparative mileage to other towns, say like Williamstown, I think their road budget is the same as our whole town budget.
Yeah, I know Jeremy did
And
that
they,
work for us when he was.
I'm pretty
on
sure it's
board.
about $1.5 million. And we are keeping, like, people need to know, we are keeping our costs down significantly compared to other towns, and our roads are in better shape. You know, I know when I get to Williamstown from a Chelsea road, you can tell. And when, you know, people need something done, it gets done. And we're doing it for less money than most, I would say, every town that's bordering Chelsea, we're doing it for less. And significantly less, not just.
Yeah, remember Jeremy did that chart for us when he was, I mean, he
Yeah.
didn't call the other towns.
And Williamstown has less mileage, and I think they have 2 other guys working for them. And they, and I mean, we see what some of those back roads are like in mud season. So I would vehemently challenge anyone who has a problem with what we're paying. I mean, we've kept that down a lot compared to other towns, and like, you know, we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars less. We work with less men. We, you know, I think that it's foolish to try to push things out and then start throwing $15,000 into welds on frames and new, new parts.
Worry about that because welding on the frame is illegal.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to think of something off the top of my head. That's the only thing I can think of.
we've kept our past trucks 11 years, most towns don't. keep that long.
Yeah,
And even like the loader, I mean, a lot of towns trade 10, 15 years.
what do we have?
So you know,
21 years, and our grader and our last backhoe was 22 years old.
yeah,
It's not like
so,
we're trading stuff that's, new.
but you know, Jeff brought up the point about our labor costs and how we're doing it relative to other towns. It's like, I'm gonna hop on the soapbox here, or chastise, whatever. It's like, I encourage us to make sure that all the town employees, all the people who are working are doing a proper, appropriate accounting of their time, so that it's not that they're working for free, and that we don't really know the total cost of their work, because the board's got to know a total cost, a total accounting of those labor, so that we can appropriately plan and budget budget for it. So that's, like, we appreciate your work, Rick, thank you. So just, we want to make sure that when we have these discussions and, you know, in general, that we do a full accounting of all the work, and labor that goes into the town activities, so that we can have a very accurate representation. So 1 year if things change, personnel change, or equipment changes, that we can, you know, capture that accurately.
No, the board, every time the board. Stuff changes.
Yeah.
In the past, I mean, we used to do it with 2 guys, and we had Mike Whipple that used to pay $4,000 to help out, and if we got a little bit of overtime, the board would have a fit because we're getting this extra overtime. And now we're paying over $50,000 for the extra help, you know?
As opposed
So
to
every
overtime.
board, you know, is different.
Is there enough money
I understand, Rick.
in the wages to cover the potential raises that we've discussed?
Yeah, well, it depends on what you're doing.
Like,
I mean, I added $7,000.
do you think that, like, if you, Paul, and John all were to get, or, you know, if they were to get more than that, then, you know,
Well, right now, we don't have the extra person.
okay, so we're good. We have the freedom to increase it that line. But you actually don't.
I don't know. If it's all-
It's just.
I mean, there is always stuff you can do, but a lot of times.
It's just
you
you
can
don't
get
know.
Yeah, he would just be doing the snow and water. I mean, in the winter time, we got some drawbacks, but it's hard to. Weather, you know, we can't get out there sometimes, snow, or whatever, you know, so. I really don't. I mean, eventually, when Paul, you know, 79, so he gets ready to say he's had enough, you know, that time just do a 3-man crew.
All right, so we're,
Maybe that guy could work, you know, get by, you know. And sewer plant basically is just going down in the hole, no one can sign off. You know, that's why you need somebody. So, big deal most of the time.
And it's not really disruptive that when you guys be here, just
John usually stops.
like 15 minutes.
Yeah, he usually stops at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay. Yeah. Just something to remember, maybe we need to talk to Nolan as far as coverage, and considering this position that we don't really need on the highway end. And
we
have
do.
him talk to other towns about trading coverage, like, you know, trying to figure out how we can get someone who's already certified and who might be interested in having someone on backup rather than on salary, who would be available if there's some.
I thought we had.
I don't think we have.
Mike Whipple's emergency back.
Yeah, Mike Whipple's our emergency, and, you know, I don't think he's like chomping at the bit. And I don't know what how long his certification lasts. And if he's
Should
not
we-
working,
should we
I don't think
call
he
him?
wants to get
I think
certified.
somebody talked.
Yeah, I think it's been a little bit,
I talked to him before, and he said he's more than willing to come down and cover for Nolan one time off, so.
okay, so yeah, we
It's
should,
worth talking to.
we need to talk to him and we need to find out when his certification runs, because I don't know if he has to have a certain amount of hours in order to get recertified. He might be.
Let's have Mary Ann do that now.
Okay.
Thanks,
What
Marianne.
what do you think?
Sorry about throwing all these things at you.
Okay.
But then one of us will pick, we'll figure out who's gonna pick up what portfolios in the interim. We'll have to figure that out too. Mark, you volunteering for something? I see the smirk there. Or Jeff.
I saw him.
All right. So yeah, Mary Ann, you check that out. Think, and you know, just coordinate with Nolan on that, please.
Okay.
All right, what else, Rick?
I'll leave you, that's what I figured. That's can look at it.
What is that?
Okay,
That's just a copy. of
this is
what I
the
got.
proposed,
Okay,
so we'll just take a look at it.
Yeah, you just.
Like that, fairly complete with you.
Any questions? Come again, or whatever.
yeah, Mark, did you have any concerns?
Matter.
Nope.
All right. Or it'll be passing.
All right. I guess we'll move on from highway unless Pete has anything. Is that a pet pig or what is that? Oh.
Cat.
Good night.
It's like a,
Oh, now she's gone.
like those little Hereford dogs. All right, so, let's go into, we'll talk about town employees, salaries, compensation. I know Mary Ellen was gonna cover a lot of this with me. I'm not, we can have a discussion about it now. But, I know one of the main questions we had was, when would we do raises? Is it something that we've done in the past and prior to the town meeting or after the town meeting? I thought we did it after.
I think we did it after, but I think that we're in a situation that we're losing people for $1 an hour, $1.50 an hour. I think we lost Brian for somewhere around 75 cents. So I think that we need to think about that when Corinth is taking people from us because they pay $1 more an hour. Brian's salary before? Brian was like at 18, something like that. He wanted 1875 or 1915 was at 1875. I mean,
He went to Rockford, that's 25. So.
yeah, I mean, but he asked for
Yeah.
only, it wasn't that much that he asked for in the previous board before I was there. Or at least maybe it was done without my knowledge when I was on it. Did not want to give him that. Yeah, it was before me. And
Yeah, I went right before you were on that board.
I think, or whoever Zeb took their place. Was it Mike Whipple?
Oh,
I mean,
gosh.
whoever it was, Zeb ended up getting paid what the person wanted who quit to go somewhere else. So, in these moments of us not paying that extra 50 cents, $1.50, we're having to retrain people, losing people, having to go through the process of not having the proper fit of, a hire who isn't the fit for the position. And it costs a lot of money, where we could just spend an extra, couple grand a year and be golden. So I think that it's important that we think about that and just like, we need to take care of it. Doing like 25-cent raises to try to correct something that is, dollar increments is not helping us.
So I know that we've put ourselves on notice to look at the salaries and compensation and benefits for for especially highway, especially transfer station. What else was it we were thinking? Who was it we were talking about in the past?
I think transfer station and highway.
Yeah, so
And sewer, we have to.
yeah, so, yeah, but that was assuming that the people would be split, but we would have to look at that. So what I suggest is that we take a look at that information. I'm not sure if we can make a decision on that, but we should at least make ourselves aware to look at that information and, be prepared to, when we start finalizing the budget, that we have that information in there. I know Mary Ellen was taking a look, as was I, at the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, the database on compensation, salaries, how people are paid, how much they're paid, average, whatever is median. What's that, Mary Ann?
Nothing, I had that book and I highlighted it and I didn't bring it. It's that thick book,
Yeah.
but, right.
All right, thank you. So we would definitely be wise to take a look at that so that we know that, if we are in fact, like Jeff said, we're losing people next door for a couple dollars here or there, that we can make judgment as to whether we want to propose to the town an increase. And we just as long as we're able to explain that to voters, then, that's what we have to do. So, I think that's what we do. We take a look at the data, in the next upcoming weeks or so, and, as we get that budget prepared, we go from there. What do you think, Mary Ann?
I, in my file here, did a little bit of research. In 2019, in the December meeting, in the minutes, there was a cost of living increase, and there was some discussion about it. Susan Elder, Ken suggested some stuff, and Susan Elder thought it was too much, and they kind of compromised, and it was they ended up doing a staggered increase, like 1.5% increase for 1 to 6 years of service, 1.75 for 7 to 12, and a 2% for 13 plus years. And that was a motion that was passed then. And also the insurance opt-out for town employees was set at $2,500 for that year. It's still $2,500, but you could change that. And I looked, according to Google, like the cost of living adjustment that the Social Security is going to do this year is going to be 5.9%, which is the largest increase since 2009. It had been very, since 2009, it had been very low. Like last year, it was 1.3%. So I don't know if you want to do, if you were considering like a across the board kind of cost of living adjustment. Those are some numbers to think about there.
If we did that this year, it has to come out of the approved budget that presently exists.
And there's enough wiggle room, I think, in all the budgets.
I don't know.
Wouldn't it be for
If-
next year?
No, what's that?
Okay, so wouldn't those things, if you do them, wouldn't they be like going from next year? It starts January and going through all next year?
Right, but our budget doesn't start until after March.
Okay,
We're on a
okay.
calendar year.
So we would be still
We're not
working
calendar.
on this budget.
I see.
Well, it wouldn't, no, it would, because we're on calendar year. So it would, we'd basically be approving money that's not approved by the town.
I think, so when we did the budget last year, I am reasonably certain that we put enough money in to support increased wages and more than what we actually increased them. And the fact that Zeb wasn't working for part of the year, there was an extra chunk in there as well for a little buffer in case.
Yeah, I know we had it, and we had it concerned if, the folks would need to have, be compensated for their work, for their actual work that they were doing. Did we lose the internet? It's Kate. But, yeah, I don't know. We would have to we'd have to check the fund balance
Yeah,
for that. I mean, we could take a look with Gail.
I mean, from what I will have to check with Gail, but I'm reasonably certain that Gail said that there are finances available within the budget, even if there wasn't in the actual highway department. We're in places that we've saved, and so we have some surplus. So I think we should talk to Gail and come up with some numbers, and maybe even come up with some numbers tonight, and then have Gail look at them and think about whether or not those work. So we don't have to vote on it actually, the increase in wages passing tonight, but let's come up with some numbers for Gail to run and see if the budget supports that without going over the budget.
For which period?
But, well, if we increase in January, it's gonna be 3 months, 2 months of this budget. So let's just make sure Gail, and then we would have that, and then we would approve for wages after town meeting for the rest of that calendar year. So right now, we have to think about if, say, we have $5,000 between taxes, wages, FICA, and all that increase because of the raises that we give, and we want to give those raises in January rather than March, seeing as people are going to be running around, going out at 2 a.m. plowing and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, in my opinion, it's better to give them some money before they're not sleeping and.
So,
And, you know, let's check with Gail and see what's available. Let's think about what we want so that Gail can, because the reality of the increase in cost of living in Vermont right now is not 5.6%. It's more than that. And the increases have been going up more, you know, it's been going up every year. So yeah, we have a pop this year, but you know, probably 5% is what it has been going up for the past 5 years. And everybody thinks about like 1.3% or, you know, 2.8% or whatever. And so like, we need to just like do it and get it done, because every year we talk about this stuff.
my thought is that as opposed to, is Kate still with us?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, as
Hey,
opposed to.
sorry, just had some issues with the video.
I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we didn't lose you. My thought is that instead of across the board, we've got an opportunity to look at the actual data of, you know, what people make comparative to, you know, what our transfer station attendant or our transfer station assistant makes. We've got information on where the folks are around us. So we could use that information to assist us.
I definitely was not saying we should just pick a percentage. And
Okay.
I'm just saying that cost of living has
Oh,
gone
yeah.
up, and the government's always stingy on that. And I think that it's, you know, it isn't good policy to follow that number. We need to look at what people are actually making and start straightening things out.
So I'm sorry I didn't bring it, but there's that thick book, and I went through and I highlighted Chelsea, and I put a page on each of Chelsea, where in the highway, the road crew, the water, all things. And just, I did that pretty quickly. It's in the office. You guys can come in and see it, but just glancing at it, Chelsea's like the lowest of all the towns. Like it's a book of spreadsheets. It's all of Vermont, how much everybody makes in every town.
Yeah.
Yeah, around us, I don't think anyone's making under $20 an hour. Then maybe you got a couple guys, but from what I gather, like 20
Is
is
that the transfer station?
for highway and transfer. I think 25 is what transfer's making over in Berkshire.
I don't know.
Well, it's all in that book. And the thing is, I don't know, electronically, you gotta come in and see it. It's a thing, but
Please
just,
don't even bother taking the time
Yeah.
to try to do that. We'll come in.
It's, I mean, it's rough for towns to compete with. FedEx is offering $30 an hour starting wage for a driver. So potentially, you know, any one of our,
And they're probably,
maybe not Mr. Beatty, but John could run right up there and they make $30 an hour.
do they pay every day? Because I've seen some ads where people are paying every 2 days, every week.
For truck drivers, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta weigh your benefits, I mean, you gotta drive to Berlin, it's different, but at the same time, it's still $30 an hour. Versus
So,
18, I mean,
so just throwing this out there. Right now, anybody in town who just heard you say that is clutching their chest. And like, let's worry about what the other towns are. Well, because there's that, like, let's just accept, we're not gonna pay anywhere near $30 an hour.
right,
Unless the town meeting says we're gonna pay.
but
But
that
then we
is,
won't have any sand for the roads.
that is the world we live in, and
Yeah.
what we are potentially competing against to lure somebody with a CDL capable of doing what we need them to do. We are potentially competing against FedEx at $30 an hour.
Correct. Yep, that's right. So we've got to have a pretty compelling cause to convince people to continue to work for the town. We have to make a pretty good case to do that. So whether that's through other benefits packages like we work through with the library board, you know, we have those discussions, you know, there were increase or enhanced benefits that we already did for the road crew. I don't know, for water and the road and sewer and now library with the entrance into Beavers. or the request to enter be merged. Those are things that we should be considering.
And to that point, for all townspeople that clutch their chest to the idea of $30 an hour, that maybe 5% isn't that bad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean,
Yeah,
if 5% is gonna make everybody happy and keep the guys here, look, if you were actually putting down the numbers competing with other employers, it could be a lot worse.
All right, so we still have work to do on this. Kate, did you have any other comments, concerns?
Well, I'm wondering what the next steps are for work on this. It sounds like it sounds like getting that information from the surrounding towns would be one of our first steps. Or is
Yeah,
that what Marianne has? That booklet has that town by town?
It's big, it's a big book of spreadsheets that VLCT did.
I'm gonna ask Mary Ann to do what Jeff suggested we not do. And that's gonna be put together, do a data call on our neighbors from that book, just so that we could see what our like in a sheet, so that we can compare Chelsea to our contiguous neighbors, maybe.
So you want her to do it, you want Mary Ann to do a spreadsheet?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm just throwing out, speaking of salaries and workload and things, we've thrown a bunch of stuff at Mary Ann, so maybe we should let her know that it doesn't all need to be done tomorrow and.
it doesn't. No.
Yeah, so we understand your workload and throwing these things at you, and I think we trust you to prioritize and not go crazy.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Because I can see you over there like, oh my God.
Well,
Just so
it's a huge book, so you want me to just highlight and then maybe step it out for you, just the little ones?
maybe just our neighbors, but
Okay.
then should we include Williamstown?
Well, what I would say, I mean, in my opinion,
It goes by population of town, like, like you can't compare to Burlington, but you
Yeah.
can compare to, if we have like, what, 1,200 people, you can compare to towns that have 1,500, 1,900. So it goes like that. That's how they compare it in the book.
Do we have any preference on?
How much of a pain in the butt would it be for you to sort out like Tunbridge versus your?
Well, in each category, nothing, I just have to, they're alphabetical. I just have to flip through and, write down.
would, just
Shouldn't be
for.
that. I've looked at it myself, and I was gonna do it last year, but I didn't have a chance to do it last year.
Well, I was gonna
It
say,
shouldn't
maybe
take
if Mary Ann just takes pictures for us, sends us the pictures, and, there'll be a page of Tunbridge, there'll be a page of Chelsea, and we can flip through the pictures and look at them, rather than sit down, do a spreadsheet, get all that done. Because I mean, in the end, it's just us looking at it, we're not presenting anything at this moment in time to anyone, that we need an official Washington DC.
Whatever
where
form
the
you
spreadsheet-
feel is easiest.
Okay,
I
I'll
think-
just probably write it down. I'll just probably make it.
Or yeah, write it down.
I'll just write it down. It'll be faster not to do it on.
Because data entry and doing the spreadsheets.
I've seen it, it shouldn't be that hard, it just takes a little time, but what I'm thinking ahead is when we have a town meeting and someone who's on fixed income, social security, and who's paying the property taxes, ask us, how the hell did you come up with this data? We can explain, we were very challenged to do it, we had information, here's what this is why we're recommending it.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, that's my thought. So as long as it's, we got a good basis for it, then I think that's what we should be aiming for. All right, so does that answer your question, Kate?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so let's move along to options explored for town meeting.
Yeah, I saw that was on here now, with what Phyllis had just done in the town clerk report. I wasn't sure what you were envisioning
That's-
there.
That's the same thing. I just wanted to touch base with you. to
Okay.
make sure we covered that.
I did talk to some more town clerks around us, not actually any contiguous towns because I couldn't reach any of them, but Randolph and Stratford and Sharon I all talked to, they answered. And I asked them both about Australian ballot and just to see what more people were doing. And I would say regarding our question about signatures and the petitions, we seem to be, so as far as I can tell from everybody I've talked to, one of, if not the only one around us that requires those every year, just as we had heard. So still don't know what we want to do about that, but just wanted to reiterate.
All right, so you're saying we're one of the few towns that still requires petitions every year?
Yeah, even for flat funding. Everybody else just requires it for a change in funding or new ones, as we've discussed.
So I gave that model social services appropriations policy from VLCT to everyone. That was for you though. Did you see that?
Is that in the packet?
Thought it was.
Yeah, it was in that. Bring mine. It was in there.
It was one of those attachments, I think. Anyway, there you go. You could, you know.
I see. I have FEMA Town Services employee spreadsheet, the Phyllis Warning service agreement, and Emerald Ash Bower.
There's nothing about.
Oh, it's the link up top. I was looking for an attachment. I'm sorry, I didn't see that. I'll try to open it. It seems for whatever reason it's not letting
It was just
me.
if you want to, think of a wording that you might.
Yeah, so
Okay.
at our previous meetings, we decided not to, we didn't really decide not to act on it, but we had a consensus that we would, that the next board, the next board would probably review it. What's your thought, Jeff?
No, just.
Okay, yeah, but in the last meeting we had, might have been another one prior, we didn't act on it. So
Yes, I remember that, and I couldn't remember exactly our reasoning, and I saw that I was on the agenda for this, so I thought that I was supposed to get more information, but that's all I got, really, was just anecdotal information.
and did we vote on it? I don't think we.
No, it just failed,
I think
or it didn't fail, but it was.
Fail, but I thought that the language wasn't like super clear. So I felt like this might help. You might need to be more complex and specific language. I mean, that's why I did this, because I thought, you might want to read it and like reconsider some more words.
All right, okay. But Kate, we'll leave that to you. I brought it up.
I'm gonna.
You had
Pardon?
brought it up last year. I said, we'll leave it to you. I had brought it up months ago because you had brought it up last year, so.
Okay, thank you. I will give this a read, and if I want it on the next agenda, I'll let you know.
Yep, send me a note.
Thank you, Marianne.
If I'm still around asking for agenda items, you'll be able to send me a note. All right, so transfer station service agreement, Jeff, I know we mentioned that a little bit.
So Myers has sent us one. They do not have a rental fee included. And the increases that they have, it's like $10 for disposal fees. Their hauling fees, I think, are the same.
Okay.
But we can look at it more when we have a comparative one. If Casella doesn't end up sending us one, we probably just end up having to go with Myers.
So how does that fit with the procurement policy? So we've got that. I mean, will we do an official RFP or what?
Do we legally have to do an RFP, and what other organizations?
Yeah, that's.
I mean, how many organizations are within hauling distance of us that we're not,
Yeah, I know, that's good.
Because then you're gonna get a bid from somebody in Brattleboro, they're gonna give us a great bid, and then 3 months in, they're gonna be like, oh, well, diesel's so much, the cost of it is so much, we gotta do this, this, and this. So,
You
it's
don't
like-
have, I looked up that stuff, I can't remember though, but I think you don't have to do an RFP every single year.
For the,
For anything, for
Yeah.
recurring contracts, like, like ongoing services. Not only this, but other things.
I mean, is there another trash service that's,
Not really, there's,
Casella.
I mean,
there's,
no, not really. And I have been doing some research off and on when I have a few spare moments about different ways to handle the cash of the transfer station. And the person, Maggie, had done some stuff, and I found some stuff from her, and Gail was telling me what, so I just have made some phone calls and stuff. When I made those phone calls, some of the other towns that I called, they have different things, like they have a little independent, like hauling person, and that person just kind of comes fairly, and it's like, so there's somebody in the truck, and they said, yeah, when she's done, they use cash, but when she's done, like, we don't know what we're gonna do, because they're just not, they're just little towns doing their little thing, like maybe a guy that has a truck or a
in
couple
Newbury,
trucks.
that's-
Yeah, like very, very low key, not even a transfer station. So,
so I
I
can't,
haven't finished all the research on that. I mean, nothing to present or anything, so
yeah, I
I don't
can't,
know what to
I-
say about that.
I can't find my paper copy of the procurement policy. But, as long as we're not,
Well, if you do an RFP, then then it has to be, well,
yeah, I know, but I'm saying is, as long as we're not violating what we establish as policy, then we'll do what needs to be done, so. Yeah, I'll have that copy. I get all this other crap, but I can't find a copy of that. Bet you it's in this one.
Find it tomorrow morning when you're looking for something else.
I bet you it's in this one. Let's see. Let me take one more look. But Mary Ann, you said you looked at it already.
I did, and
I
I,
don't
and I
need this.
asked Casella, originally Casella was like, there was something in there where they're not gonna do it every year, they're not gonna make a bid every year, only if there's an RFP. There was something in the file about that,
Okay.
so I had called them and they were gonna call me back and they didn't, so I don't know what that means. But Myers, I had to call him a couple times to get him to send a contract. I don't know why they don't wanna do it, but.
So Jeff, we'll leave this in your hands, right? And you'll make a recommendation on the action to take in the next meeting? If that's what you want to do, we'll.
Yeah, I just realized something, conflict of interest. I have stock in Casella. But I honestly, given the situation, am leaning more towards just dealing with Myers, so, I don't know if that kind of makes a difference.
Well, when we,
So I'll present the stuff to you. I personally am kind of like, we might as well just stick with what we have, especially since we're having the full teeth to get a contract, a proposal from Casella. But in full, full disclosure, I do have stock in Casella, so.
all right, so let's go with Mary Ann. You've made the phone call to Casella
Yeah, and Myers, yeah.
and you've not received anything from Casella.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. So, at the next meeting, I guess we'll, Jeff, whatever information you have that we don't presently have, you'll tell us and we'll let Mary Ann take the lead on or you tell the rest of the stuff to Mary Ann and then
Yeah,
she'll
I
take
mean,
the
if
lead on
they
that.
contact me and give me information, I'll
Yeah.
pass it on to Mary.
And
And
then
that's what I
we'll-
was gonna do anyways, because she should have it.
And then we'll count on someone, not you, to, move to take action if we intend to do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna get the complete information on the Myers contract, that you said it wasn't there. Right.
Yeah, just that,
Okay, so I'll,
just that they meant to leave the rental out.
All right.
And it'd be great if they did. But I just said the $300 a month each unit, I don't think they're going to.
Well, we have ours, right?
I don't think we have any, we own any of the bins.
We do.
We own the contractors, the compactors. We used to have one.
I don't,
And-
Your friend,
Sometime in the fog of war, that disappeared or became part of some contract
someone
where
else's. Yeah.
it ended up with Myers or Casella. And
We
nobody
did.
really knows what happens, but it's basically Doug Lyford is adamant that we owned at least one at one point in time, but it was long enough ago now that it's
And I-
holding on to that is not gonna do anything for anyone.
And I think we looked for it last board.
Yeah, Doug called
Yeah.
around and he couldn't find it.
Yeah, all right. All right, so do we have anything else on transfer station service agreement?
Just throwing out there since we're on transfer station. That's another one, big wage one that we have to look
Why
at.
we know.
Yeah, I know you know, but I'm
Yeah,
just
we
saying it
gotta-
again, because I promised that I will bring it up.
Oh, yeah, I know. We were all aware of that, so we'll take a look at the data. We'll take a look at the, if we're gonna do across the board and additional stuff, we'll go from there. All right, so next thing we have up is executive session for human resources. And it will include employee probationary review. That's gonna include Mary Ann. So I'm thinking what we do is, if we would move to go into executive session, we would invite Mary Ann, but we want to have Mary Ann in for some of it and then kick her out for the rest of it. Because that's how I think we should do the review. All right, so is anyone going to move to go into executive session with human resources?
I move that we go into executive session for human resources at 9:18 p.m.
All right, Jeff has moved to go into executive session for human resource, and that's per 1 VSA 313A3. Is there a second?
Second.
Mark Whitney has seconded it. Is there any further discussion? And is there any further discussion? I'll make one. We're inviting Mary Ann to it. All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we are going into executive session at 21:18.
Hey, it's only been like 2 hours.
All right, Mary Ann.
11 minutes, so.
You're good to stay. Thank you for all your hard work.
I'm still hired.
You are, of course. Thank you for doing everything. Continue to support us as you have been doing. Thank you. All right, so do we have a motion to approve orders?
I move to approve order.
Second.
All right. Let's, any further discussion? All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I gotta say,
Do we want to fill in Mary Ann a little bit?
I'm gonna get to that in a second.
Okay.
Jeff moved the approval orders, Mark seconded it. We vote, there was no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so the
Aye.
motion orders are approved. One thing I forgot is we have a vice chair position open with the vacancy made by Mary Ellen. Do we want to fill that tonight, or do we want to wait another meeting? What we'll do is, we will, if we want to deal with this tonight, what I'll do is I'll take nominations. The nominations don't need to be seconded. We'll have the nominations, and then we'll discuss the nominations, and then we'll vote on the nomination. It's like,
Does anyone want to do it? Does anybody like tearing to do it?
I nominate.
Because I see Mark looking at me. I'm fine with it.
Okay, so
Wait,
Mark,
Kate, she looks like she wants to do it.
Kate's shaking her head up and down.
In Bulgaria. that
Yeah.
means- Sure.
So we have nomination for Jeff. Are there any other nominations? All right, this is for the vice chair. Jeff, would you like to talk about anything? No? Okay,
Thank
All
you
right.
for your support and
Listen.
kindness and this-
let's vote since we all know who is all, let's see, please vote for Jeff. Say aye.
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 Do I have to say aye? Oh,
No, wait for
aye.
Mark.
Oh, Mark said aye.
Okay, so we've got the vote. So Jeff has been elected the vice chair.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Thank you.
Good work. All right, Mary Ann has a question.
Afterwards, the executive session, so you ended it, and then afterwards, there was no,
No action.
we took no action. Thank you.
Sorry. Thanks, Mary Ann. Because if we were gonna fire you, we would need to take action.
Or something, could take there could be another action.
There have to be a public action to fire you.
Okay.
All right, so then we elected Jeff as a vice chair. Mary Ann, do you have any other questions?
No, next meeting, regular 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
great.
All right, Kate, are you all set? All right, if there's no further business, I will say we are adjourned. Adjourned at 21:45.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Kate.
Bye.
Good night.
21:45.